So when it comes to the latest episode of Summer Pockets, Kushima and Takahara spend another day together, and this day is all about unlocking one of Kushima's treasure chest. Now, to start off the recap, we get a flashback that shows what appears to be Takahara, Kushima, and a few others, 5 in all, who make this chest. Kushima's acting as the leader of it. Takahara and the others, they all place a key somewhere hidden on the island, place something into the chest, lock it, and then the plan originally was within 10 years' time, everyone from that summer camp would come back to the island and they would join together in order to find all the keys and, open up the chest. As shown, only Takahara returned, and we're assuming this is Takahara. The kid is named Taka, so we're assuming they just cut off the end of his name, but it's not 100% sure. And even Takahara, while he acts toward the end of the episode that maybe this is some type of memory that he forgot or maybe even blocked out, it's not confirmed. And unfortunately, Kushima is not really trying to push that either. But at the very least, as they traverse the island looking for these different keys, they have a good time together. They speak with Sumiki, who's the one who's at the lighthouse all the time. It says Miyugi all the time. And while they don't find a key there, it does seem like Takahara builds up a friendship with her. Now, unfortunately, they have to go to Shirahara's house, and needless to say, as much as Shirahara's kind of distant, doesn't really want to interact with people, her grandfather's not that much either, to the point where in order to even get to Shirahara and try to talk to her, Takahara has to borrow O's school uniform, which, as you can imagine, lots of awkwardness. Never mind just asking Al for her outfit, but also Kushima getting into it, and because Kushima seems to be a bit more buxom, I guess, compared to Al, Takahara's eyes are wandering. And that's not the only awkward moment, but we get to that in a moment. So they talk to Shirahara, get another key, and by the time this is all over, they get the 4 keys, mainly because of Takahara deducing where everything is with some help from Kushima. But once they get the 4th key, unfortunately for Takahara, he falls out of a tree, and with that, he has to go home because he's injured. And this is what leads to a series of awkward moments, ranging from Kushima deciding to get into a maid's uniform in order to not only take care of Takahara, but strangely clean up around his house, which apparently his aunt Misaki doesn't really care about. And then things get real awkward when Takahara takes a bath and Kushima, for whatever reason, decides, I'm going to wash his back. But between Takahara being naked in the tub and that being a lot for her, well, more so for him than her, then him trying to be out of the tub with a towel over himself and her seeing his naked body, and of course, you've seen how Umi acts, so imagine not being related to someone like Takahara and being his age, and, Kushima gets flustered and has to walk away. But ultimately, they do open up the box. It just reveals a map, I believe, and Kushima walks Takahara through that day where all these keys were hidden and everything. They saw this giant pirate ship, and once again, the two find themselves bonding and become closer than ever, but there's still that question of what's going on with Takahara to forget all these people and these memories. Never mind with the way things are going with Ao, Kushima, less so Shirahara. Will these just be friendships he develops, or will these become something more? And that's what leads to the review section. There is seriously a need to question what happened to Takahara, and a part of me recognizes it's been 10 years since he potentially saw Kushima last, and a lot probably happened over those 10 years. However, what exactly happened is still worth questioning. Is it that something traumatic happened? Is it that clearly Takahara is dealing with some type of long-term sadness, maybe depression? Could that have potentially affected him to the point where all the happy memories that he had kind of faded away and he just focused completely on swimming and sports in order to kind of drown things out? It's hard to say, but it's still one of those things where you want to get to know what's happening. And even though I can feel a little bit of frustration of not getting answers starting to slowly slip in, it's not a big enough issue to really be like, stop slowing things down and speed the fuck up. Now, leading to the second highlight, I love how awkward these kids are. Whether it's Takahara trying to seem smooth and cool, or Kushima who seemingly wants to be a friend and be supportive, but at the same time might be developing feelings for Takahara. Watching these two go back and forth, and then involving Ao and that interaction that Takahara has with her, even also Shiroa when it comes to his relationship with her. Again, it doesn't feel like they're trying to develop a harem, but it's just recognizing that Takahara is not just a nice, good guy who's kind of boring, but he has a personality, he's interesting, and because of that, even if he is kind of awkward at times, maybe even comes off a bit perverted to these girls, there's still something appealing about him. So whether it's rose-colored glasses or him just seeming balanced out, there is an interest there, and wanted to know if his coming-of-age story this summer is going to include maybe being with one of these girls, like dating, maybe having his first kiss, is still something very much of interest. And because of this, overall, I feel like Summer Pockets maintains that ideal balance of being sweet, the slightest bit naughty, but also presenting characters you want to invest in as individuals. Never mind also invest in the relationships they can have with each other, especially as they go on this journey from the beginning of the summer to the end, and are not only just escaping whatever life they have outside the island, but also they find themselves potentially healing, if not growing, during this time as well.